Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here and that you made it. This is the daily medicine transmission for February 25th, 2021. Ooh, boy. Oh, I hope everybody is doing well. Yesterday, it was a big one. It was a big one, and it's really important that we are taking care of ourselves today because there was a big shift and an upgrade, and right now we are in the process of integrating that. And it was big. It was really big. So some astrological happenings today. Venus enters Pisces. So beautiful. And the sun is in a sextile to Uranus. And Jupiter in Aquarius is in a trine to the North Node. So we are still in this phase of, on the one hand, being able to see into the future, feel what's going to happen, have a sense of what's to come, being able to anticipate the changes that are happening based on just our access to natural technology, our own intuition, our own psychic channel, just being able to feel into the environment around us, to be aware of the information that is coming our way. Mercury is now direct, starting to move now. It's moving out of that 11 to 12 degrees of Aquarius and is now moving. So there is more information. The realm of the mind, communication, short-term travel and movement is starting to come online. But in conjunction with that, there is a very strong sense today in particular that we have to, and I say we have to, you can choose not to, but there is a very, like I said, there was a big shift happening, and Mars is still sitting within the orb of fixed star Algol. That trine with Pluto yesterday was exact, but it's still lingering, right? The trine happened, and now that energy is moving on, but it's still there, causing a ripple effect. And so what we released yesterday, the shadow part of ourselves that fixed star Algol represents, the Medusa, right? The head of Medusa, the Gorgon. When we release that from the body, it allows space for something new to grow. It allows that part of ourselves to be released. And it's important that we give ourselves some time and some space to integrate what has happened. I know for me personally, there was a lot of astral travel last night. There was a lot of off-world movement, if you want to call it that, and a lot of very deep integration. So Pluto's in my 12th house. So Aquarius rising people, very generally, Pluto is in your 12th house. Mars is in your 4th house. So that personal power was really getting an upgrade by releasing a lot of what is really the projection of our shadow. And with that out of the way, there is space for something new to grow. And it is really part of a much deeper transformation in terms of collective karma, and in the realm of dreams, in the realm of inspiration, a realm of the collective experience. So with Pluto, it's about transformation. It's very deep, very penetrating, very powerful, right? Very powerful potential with Pluto. And in the 12th house like that, it is, it's going to be in the astral for the most part. It's going to be in the realm that is that there isn't really much to hang on to. So just be aware of that. Give yourself some time. We're so close. We're so close. This full moon is going to be so illuminating in so many ways. And once we pass this marker, we will be able to take what we learn, let go of what's not working for us anymore, and move into March. Move into March. And that'll be the topic of the next Astro Report as we look at the second half of the lunar cycle, the beginning of March. Mercury coming out of its shadow on the next new moon on the 13th, and the equinox is on its way. So just please take care of yourself. I'm really feeling it. Not only did the weather change very drastically where I live, it had been freezing, below freezing for weeks and weeks and just dumping snow. Now it's like 45 degrees and sunny, and everything's melting. So even that, my body definitely felt the shift, just in the weather. So, and also what is happening, in the astral realm, in the morphogenetic field, in the multidimensional aspect of ourselves. There was a big one, a big shift. And so, please take care of yourself. If your body, that's always what happens when there's a big release like this. This is why detoxing tends to make you feel like shit, right? Because when you start releasing things that are embedded in your body that are not really meant to be there, that there is the effect of that is usually all of these quote unquote ascension symptoms, or you don't even have to think about it in that way. You can think about it literally as just when your body is your biochemical meat sack, when you are detoxing, elements that aren't supposed to be there, all this toxicity, you definitely can feel like shit. And I know that I'm working with people right now as a clientele who are going through the same thing. They are purging out a lot of stuff to be ready for the next big upgrade, and the sloughing away, and in some cases the total decapitation of what is not going to serve us moving forward, was initiated yesterday in a big way. So it's important to take care of yourself. It really is. And so I'm definitely feeling it in my body, but it's really great to be here. So I'm going to check in with the chat real quick because earlier it said something about the resolution. So I'm not sure if that's still the case, but whatever. I am recording this. If you want to check it out on BitChute, the link will be in the description box. And Telegram and Facebook, you can link to there as well. I haven't been writing as much on Medium. I haven't been blogging as much because I'm working with clients pretty consistently. So when that kind of, that's an ebb and flow. And so when that starts to ebb a little bit, that'll be the time really when I start producing more of written content, which is really where I feel the most myself, is the writing part of myself. So sometimes I really wish I could just share what I experience in my morning meditations, because it's just so amazing. I wish I could project out onto a screen what is going on in my communication with my guidance and my team and my own higher self, because it's just it's just amazing. And they just really were laughing, kind of laughing at me and just laughing in general this morning, because it really, the theme of today's transmission is that patience comes from trust. And we are really being asked to be patient still. And I know that this is really a struggle for many people right now. If you haven't totally checked out, some people went right back to sleep if they ever woke up at all. But the patience is, I know, a difficult thing. And I'm an equal opportunity spiritual person, and so I engage with lots of different spiritual texts to find inspiration. And I do sometimes look to the Bible quote of the day, and it was a specific quote from Proverbs that is in itself is interesting, but I decided to read the whole chapter, and boy, it's got some choice verses when it comes to prudence and when it comes to patience. And this is really what we're being asked and presented with an opportunity to really get into, because we can't. And this is why my guides were laughing in my meditation this morning, just laughing. And they're just like, you silly people, you want to pick the fruit before it's ripe. Why do you want to do that? And that's, you want to pick it before it's ripe. It doesn't taste good. You don't get the full benefit. And this is why trust is so important. and patience. And trust is different than blind faith, right? And blind faith isn't even the right term. It's trust is something that comes from a faith that has been tested over multiple occasions, and you come to realize that it is worth trusting, whatever that is, a person, a set of information, a system really of gathering information. We learn to trust these, we come to trust these outlets or these relationships, even those voices that are seemingly our guidance. That was a hard lesson to learn along the pathway of being a reader and a shamanic healer. Is learning what voices are. Just because they're talking to you doesn't mean that you should trust them necessarily. And I learned that the hard way along the way. So that was when Saturn came into my 12th house. It was a very clear, like, okay, you are going to learn this lesson now about what seems flashy and pretty and is seemingly in your best interest, and what is your real guidance. And I'm just thankful that in the end, my real guidance came through, because I think it would have been a really tragic ending had I continued to follow through with what seemed like the pretty, flashy, shiny guidance system that was really not there for my best interest at all. So sometimes we have to learn this over and over. Anyway, I digress. That's not really what today is about. Today is about patience and being prudent and trusting, so that we pick the fruit when it's ripe. We don't let our anxiety and our lack of patience and wanting to control the situation with our own egos take over, and then we pick the fruit, because you can't put it back on the tree. Once you pick it, that's it. And you have to live with that. And we are not only integrating this huge, massive shift that happened yesterday into today, we are also being really supported in being able to be prudent and be patient and trust the process and give ourselves time to gather our power. So let's look at the reading, and I'm going to weave the astrology in as we go along, because there are some fantastic transits today. The sun is in a sextile to Uranus. The sun in Pisces today is, and continues to be in Pisces, is just phenomenal right now. And it's hard for some people, but in some ways it is just wonderful. Okay, this isn't going to work. So take a look here. So these cards pop out as they pop out. I have a system for my reading. And so you'll see that the star card is directly facing right now in the moment. And I have to tell you, when we got prudence as the outcome here, this 8 of discs that's been coming out reversed. And it was that moment that the guidance came through and said, as I was shuffling for that last card, the guidance came through, and I heard in my mind, it was just like, you don't want to pick the fruit before it's ripe. What is wrong with you people? And as soon as that came out, I mean, this card literally just popped right out of the deck upright. And so this process, it's often very surprising to me how plugged in, and when I just stop trying to make things happen, the information that I am looking for just pops right out, literally in this case. And so we really do need to take the time. Again, our real power here is to gather our resources, to go within, and as time progresses, slowly, it is slow. I know that we are getting impatient, but in the trust, where is your trust placed? Is it in your faith in source, in divine source, in the in natural law, right? Well, if we are connecting to that Taurus energy, then that is the path of our awakening, Uranus. If we're connected to that cosmic coherence, that is the star card, guidance and trust and optimism. When we have that, it allows us to let our mind rest and recuperate. So there's a lot of this energy about rest, recuperate, to gather our resources within, to realize that everything that we are looking for is growing right now. We don't want to pick the fruit before it's ready. And there's so much of that energy that's like, get on with it. And if we do that, then we don't get the full benefit of our harvest. And a lot shifted yesterday, and the moon is still in Leo, but now it's much more in the release phase. And so allow the release to happen. Just allow it to happen, right? The combustion has already happened. Now we're allowing it to release. And this can be uncomfortable, of course, especially if you had a lot to release and you are having very physical symptoms. Just be easy on yourself. Support your system. This is the process, and we're so close. We're so close, but we don't want to jump the gun, and the patience is born of the trust. So let's look at all of this as we go along. Here's our star card, right? The 17, the Aquarius card, right? This is optimism. This is cosmic coherence. This is trust. And as much as for it's Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius is also what's happening right now in a trine to the nodes. So we have this this benefic protector, right? Zeus is the leader in the position of protection and being kind of a watchdog. So we have this overarching protection and expansion on this protection to a certain extent. But it's also Venus in Pisces, which is where Venus is today. It's so beautiful. We went from this Aquarian, really focused on like the collective in and of itself and the value of that, and taking our relationships to the next level, being autonomous and breaking out of the mold. And now that she's going to be in Pisces, this is just so beautiful. Such a beautiful opportunity over the coming weeks to really get into that flow state, to create to be creative and inspired when it comes to who and what we value in our relationships, like really feeling into them, and creating some sort of artistic value out of that is going to be substantial. And it's really, again, about trusting this process, cosmic coherence, sensitive understanding, sensitive. That is what Venus is sensitive. She's sensitive. She senses. She uses her senses to gather in from the environment. And so there's a guiding light here with this energy coming into the moment. Now it is pointing into the Four of Swords. So again, we're still talking here about the mind, and because it's really the mind. It is the mind that betrays us every single time, right? Because our thoughts are where everything else flows to. And this is the point of manifestation. This is why Mercury is represented by is associated with the magician in the tarot, right? The movement of ideas, the movement of thought forms, where we project them to. This is a big part of the manifestation process. So at the heart of it, though, the Four of Swords, Jupiter and Libra, a truce with our own mind, right? There is some structural balance here. All of the swords are pointing into this one central location. And there's a problem that may have been solved, or a process that is completed, right? The four is the cycle coming together, or coming to some sort of satisfying compromise. Now it is reflection and consideration and respite, but it's not permanent. What's next is the five, right? The Five of Swords, the defeat. This is just a moment, a truce with ourselves, right? And again, Jupiter is the watchdog. It's in a trine to the North Node, our collective soul's trajectory in order to grow. We can we can allow Jupiter to kind of expand and protect in some way. This expansion kind of creates almost this bubble around us so that we can allow our minds to evolve and mature, right? And this moment of reflection and balance and respite and truce is a sign of maturity to a certain extent, because it's not just the constant, whatever. And remember, we had the Three of Swords yesterday, right? Coming into the moment, that sorrow and that disappointment. We learn something when we get to this point and we come to a state of balance and reflection, right? We can't just keep thinking on things if we want to come to some sort of balance. So this is where the heart of today is, this balance and this reflection mentally. And it's coming from a very sensitive understanding of all of the natural processes coming together. Venus and Pisces, we're going to feel it, right? So where is our institutional power together? Where is our awareness? Where is our conscious awareness and what we can create? Where's our power together, right? The zenith here, the Buddha prepares, right? Nobody, this is where the frustration really bumps up against this, but I'm telling you, inner preparation before the action. There's going to be plenty of action in March, I assure you, okay? Plenty of action in March. Mars is going to move into Gemini. Mercury comes out of its shadow. We are going to go into Aries season. Inner preparation before action. This is where real power is going to come from. And look, there's a whole crew of people here. It's not just the Buddha. It's the Buddha and the Sangha, the community, all under the tree, in their meditation, inner preparation, gathering in our power. This is where our institutional power, this is at the top of our awareness, and it should be at the top of our awareness, is this preparatory moment where we can all sit with ourselves and be patient and gather our resources. There's plenty of time to act. We have spring and summer coming in the northern hemisphere. And even in the southern hemisphere, it's the total opposite. It's still a time to pull in and reflect, and pull in and prepare before it's time to take steps forward, because they will be coming. That is for sure. So where's our personal power, right? Where are we subconsciously rooted? So the Two of Roses is the winged messenger. So there is this disruption and a drama, right? You have this little tea party here. There's one teacup that's knocked over and that's kind of got a chip out of it. And you notice that it's away from the home. It's out in the middle of the field and it's in the foreground. It is the focus of this little tea party of two people, and the drama here, the disruption, the fighting, whatever it is in the foreground, but it's away from the home and the homestead. It's actually far away and it's very isolated, but it's also nothing else around it to distract it. So you have the dove at the center, at the top, you have the silhouette of the angel behind it, but you also have the hawk coming in with the message. There is something to learn from this drama, right? We can't just check out entirely. And that's where some of the people that are still asleep or have nodded back off, they don't want to learn from this necessarily, or they're so embroiled in it that they don't see that there's a message here. Our real personal power, where we are rooted energetically, is in the drama, seeing the drama through the higher mind and a compassionate heart, right? This is the dove, the symbol of peace coming in. You have this divine intervention as well behind it. And even though the hawk is coming in with this message, right, and showing that there is something predatory around this, and that's very important to consider. There's something predatory about this drama, right? This bifurcation, the disagreements, or worse, right? The total all-out fight between people. Because you need differentiation to come to unity. And this is really what the message is. Without this differentiation, there is no opportunity to come back together. And this is, like I said, the real message. And so this is a call to see this drama, this bifurcation, these splitting in some ways, see it as an opportunity and see it through the higher mind. This is where our real power can come from. And if we can root into this, right, and see it as a message, we don't want to get embroiled in it. We don't want to keep, acting this out or being in the drama, but there's something to learn here from this situation. So if we can root into this is where we get a message, right? And this is about our emotions, right? The roses are about our emotions, the cups, the feelings, whereas at the heart of things right now is allowing our minds to settle. And our conscious awareness and our institutional power is about gathering in, really letting our mind settle, because we're in meditation. That's what meditation is for. It's just letting the mind settle to the bottom, like sand in a glass of water, right? Or in the ocean for that matter, just letting it settle. And that's why it's called a practice. Some people are like, I'm not good at meditation. Well, you're not practicing it. Like, I've been practicing it for decades and I'm still struggle every day to let the chatter settle. But that's what the practice is for. If you don't do that, then you are easily pulled into this drama, right? So let your mind settle, find a balance, find that respite in your mind, and allow your feelings about things to be a guidance system rather than, being your feelings. Because where are we going? Where is it headed? There's our prudence, the sun in Virgo. And this is about patiently waiting for the right time. I can't get over the fact that it was like so clear. Don't pick the fruit before it's ripe. It's not going to taste good. And you don't get the most out of it. Everything needs time and consideration, everything, right? And when we're talking about personal growth and Virgo in the chart, the personal reconstruction does take time. You have to be meticulous about it and analyze the situation and take everything you need from the root structure, right? That is what is stabilizing you to the world around you, that fourth house. It's important that we let the process play out, the natural process. Now, that doesn't mean we can't see where it's headed. I mean, if you've done any kind of gardening or farming or anything like this, you know where it's going. And that's why you can be patient with the process, because we can tap into the stream of the cycle of time and know where, and that's where Aquarius has to do with trust and optimism, because we're connected to very sensitive to the coherence of everything. And so we can see what's coming, but we still live in this moment and we're allowing it to unfold naturally. And we need patience. We need patience to let it. We can't just jump the gun. And I know people want it to happen. They're like, when's it going to happen? Because they're frustrated. But it's like, you're going to be even more pissed off if you pluck the fruit before it's ready. And then you're like, this tastes like shit. Okay. Or, if I had just waited, I would have had like so many more pounds, right? And that's anybody that's in the cannabis industry or has been, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's all about the timing. So some guidance if we're struggling here, right? Number one, with the Buddha prepares, wishes fulfilled, right? We're getting there. We're going to get everything that we want, right? We want freedom. We want sovereignty. We want corruption to come to an end. We want people to wake up. We want the ascension to get here. We want 5D Earth. All of the wishes that we want fulfilled, they're coming. They're coming in the physical. But right now, it's about being able to do the inner work to prepare for the action that then we can take to then bring this about, right? The manifestation and the law of attraction is not about just wishing for something and hoping it shows up, or, it's about being in alignment with what you want and then you attract it to you. But you can't do that if your mind is, right? We have to be in that sense of that place of inner preparation, but they're coming. The wishes are going to be fulfilled, right? And along with that, wow, this has come out so many times. The Kiwi, do a walking meditation each day for a week. And you can take that literally. I mean, anything can be a meditation. Doing your dishes can be a meditation. Sweeping your floor can be a meditation. Chopping wood is a meditation. Shoveling snow is a meditation. The point is to, number one, engage your body if sitting still is something that's a struggle for you, but it's also about just getting grounded, right? And making everything around you and every action a meditation, because when you do that, then you are always present. And when you are always present, then you can trust your gut. You can trust your inner guidance. And you know what your higher self is. Remember, we've been talking about the light of the world, right? That number 10 card being reversed. How are you going to know what's knocking at your door if you are not grounded and present? Okay, so this is a reminder again to be grounded, to be present, to put the work into this. And if you can't sit still for meditation, I totally understand that. Some people's bodies just don't want that to be the case. Find some other way, right? Again, Barbara Marciniak, one of the things that always stuck out when I first started listening to her channels on the Pleiadians, one of the things that the P's always said that just stuck out with me that I really needed to hear at that point in my life. They were just like, go mow your lawn. Do your dishes, right? You want to know what to do? Take care of your reality. So make those things a meditation, because that's going to also help you do the work of inner preparation, okay? Now, when it comes to the winged messenger, take time to rest. This goes right to the Four of Swords. Take time to rest and recuperate rather than continuing your striving. You're not going to get anywhere. Keep banging your head on the wall, trying to argue with people. Take a step back because you're going to need your energy later. This is about pulling that energy in and letting what has transpired already, this massive shift and this big release to integrate, right? This full moon, again, this is going to be big. I mean, they're all big now, but I mean, this is going to be a big culmination point and showing us something. So we can't see it if we are constantly like arguing and we're engaged in the battle and all this other stuff. And so take some time to rest, walk away from the table, right? Don't get pulled into the drama, because everybody's where they need to be right now. And the best thing we can do. And honestly, I can't stop thinking after yesterday about Veruca Salt and that song. And so the goose coming out, it's the goose laying the golden egg. It's like, she wants it now. I want it now. I want it all now. I want the world. I want the whole world. Just take some time to recuperate and rest, right? That's, she wanted it all. And we talked about this yesterday, and off she went down the garbage chute. This is saying, just take some time, take a step back, let things integrate, okay? Instead of trying to push. You're not going to get to the ascension of 5D Earth through your mind alone. It's an important tool, and it's a gift, for humanity, but it's also something that we have to learn to manage. And part of that is just taking a step back. That Four of Swords is so important right now. And, Archangel Michael is here too. So here's our protector. And in some ways, it's not like we can I don't want to say we outsource it necessarily, but kind of, with Jupiter specifically, knowing that there is this protective element out there, and it's really just part of ourselves, but we can't do everything for everybody. So if we want to pull in this power, this divine power, and be a channel for it, part of that is rest and recuperation and kind of, asking for this support and help. And Jupiter, specifically where it's at in Aquarius today, and trine the North Node, is really about having this element of protection. And the protection comes from what? The flaming heart. Where is Moon? It is in Leo right now, right? That is the heart energy, the flaming heart energy, and it's being released right now. So let it just release. And know that there is protection and that there is so much more here than meets the eye. And we can be kind of like these little children right now, where we don't have to be a victim necessarily, or feel disempowered, but just to let it go to God. That's really what's coming through the strongest. Just let it go to God and be patient and prudent. And I actually want to read a verse out of that one chapter of Proverbs, that the original quote, the quote of the day, is verse number 17. It says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend." That was the quote of the day. So I decided to read the whole chapter, and boy, it was chock full of stuff. I'm gonna write it all out and post it, because this is fascinating. But the thing that is really important, verse number 12, chapter 27, verse number 12, it says, "A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished." Well, I mean, I'm sure that's punished is like they punish themselves, right? It's not like they're being punished by anybody, but it's suggesting here that when we're prudent, when we are patient, when we allow ourselves to be, give ourselves a protective mechanism in some way, shape, or form, giving it up to God and trusting this process is being prudent. And if we're able to do that, then what is it that we see? Foresees evil and hides himself, right? If we are constantly engaged in this mental activity, we won't see it coming. So give yourself some rest so that there is this ability to see it coming, right? And this is Archangel Michael, this part of ourselves that is this divine power and protector. But we can't do that if we are not being prudent and patient. Wow. Such an incredible message that I did not really anticipate this morning. I had no idea what to expect. I did know that the sun was in a sextile to Uranus today, which is really about those of us answering the call. We feel it, and we feel it, and we see what's coming. We see what's coming, and it's part of us, and we express ourselves through the summons to the rebirth of humanity. And if we can be patient again and realize that and anticipate that, right? And have everything that we need and prepare for that for when the time comes. And how do we do that? That is the inner work, right? And the inner work is really about integrating and detoxing from everything that got cut off at the head, and it's still manifesting. So that's the reading for today. That's the transmission. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I feel better just coming on here and being with you all. So take care of yourselves. And if you feel like you need energy work or reading, you can go to the description box below and find catalystenergies.net, and you can book right through the website. And please subscribe to this channel, either on BitChute. Actually, I prefer it on BitChute. YouTube is just stagnant for all independent content creators at this point. So if you are finding this on YouTube and you want to be on Alt Tech, you can go to the link to BitChute in the description box. But definitely hit like on this, hit the like button on this video, because it definitely helps push the message out there. But BitChute I'm getting a lot more traction there. They don't have a streaming platform just yet, so maybe one day. But in the meantime, I will utilize YouTube for what they have to offer. So thank you so much for being here. Take very good care of yourself. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.